Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. Thanks, Doug and Kim, for putting all this, dealing with all the behind-the-scenes stuff that none of you got to see. My CFO told me he gave away all my jokes already, so I will try to not say them again. It's funny, I told my dad that I was coming. My dad is a real estate developer, and real estate and banks are kind of going through it, as you not just real estate developers, but I told him I was coming here, and he goes, well, you should take my swear jar. And I said, what's your swear jar? And he said, well, your mom made me, every time I curse a bank, I've got to put $1 in a swear jar. And so I said, well, maybe you shouldn't come watch this speech then, because I'd rather. The Igniters that are here, I apologize for not being here this morning. Thanks for listening to my CFO. I thought it was a good, when I talked with Doug and everybody about trying to change up the format a little bit, because I couldn't make it to that, I told him, not just because I have 3 kids under the age of 3, but we're planning a new restaurant downtown in Broad Ripple right now. I've got 2 menus. Our Lake House menu launches in 2 weeks, and our Brew House, a new menu, launches in 2 weeks. So my life is in a whirlwind right now. So Igniters, I apologize that I couldn't be there, and I hope that I can share some information with you today. Before I begin too much, when Doug mentioned Twitter, and one thing I'll talk about here in a little bit with Twitter and with social media, there are certain ways that you got to handle it. You know, I think the world is changing by the second, as many of you know, and if you're not keeping up, you're falling way behind. One of the things with Twitter that people tell you is it depends on what type of your business you're doing. In my business, I feel like I can combine personal and professional, and it's a very thin line. I'm a bar owner, so my jokes are usually rated R, and things that I say, you got to know going in who you're following. If you think you're going to get, if I post something on Twitter that I think is PG rated or rated R, I let that be known so that people don't click on the link and go to, not for nudity reasons, but usually for vulgarity and things like, if it's a movie clip or things like that. So there are ways that you have to manage the social media aspect of what you do, and I'll get into that in a minute. I wanted to start really with kind of how I grew up and how things came about.